Pigeon in Dorchester hosts the fourth meeting of the Super 1 season in 2019. First race is Minimax and Junior Rotax. Before the race got underway, I caught up with the Polish driver and championship leader in Junior Rotax, Maciek Kamera. He's had the Polish embassy and Polish ambassador tweeting about his exploits recently. Now, in an era when certain privileged elite students at well-known universities want to forget the brave men and women who gave their lives so we have the freedoms we enjoy today, I asked Maciek to first explain the historical significance of the 303 Squadron team name on his suit.
It's quite important. I mean, we are a racing team, but also we like, explaining the history about how much Polish pilots helped during the Second World War and how, they shot down the most German aircraft during the Second World War. This is very important things, and we just like explaining it to people, so okay. And obviously them being fighters, karts, also fighting out on track. I think it blends together quite nicely. Yeah,
it was a great weekend for you at Raura. What about this weekend so far?
There's more competition here, and it's quite strong, and it's been quite a difficult weekend so far. But we're there, and we're just trying to get through it, and try and win.
You won the final yesterday. Today, conditions a little bit cooler, I think, today. Is that right?
Yeah, it's like weather's changed a bit. That shouldn't impact our plans that much, to be honest. Yeah, we'll just see what really happens today.
Okay, well, good luck.
Thank you.
Minimax and Junior Rotax up next, out on track at the same time, two different classes. The winner in Minimax yesterday joins me, Ollie Stevens. Now, interesting thing about you, Ollie, is you're also renting a Junior Rock this weekend, so you're racing in the two classes.
Yes.
Let's talk about Minimax first of all. Yesterday, just talk me through that race.
So at the start, I went behind Finn into Billy's, but then he got caught up in some juniors. I went to the inside and gained the lead in the Minimax.
You held on then to the end, I guess?
Yes, I did, yeah.
Okay, so that's in Minimax, and you're looking to repeat the same feat, I guess, today. But what about the difference between the Minimax and the Junior Rock? Quite a significant difference, I would think, in the way the power is delivered.
Yes, the power is a lot more than the Minimax. It is heavier than the Minimax, so my arms ache quite a lot. So.
But what are you looking to do then next year? You're renting the kart this weekend, so next season are you looking to buy a Junior Rock?
Possibly. At the moment it was just a one-time weekend because it's here at Clay and it's one of our local tracks, but we might step up to it next year.
Okay, well, good luck today.
Thank you.
Holly, you were the Girl Power winner yesterday. Congratulations for that. But we've not seen you at Super 1 before, so tell us a little bit about your karting history.
I started in Bambino, but that was only for 6 months.
And you're in Minimax now. How long have you been in Minimax for?
About a month.
So not very long. What do you make of it?
It's quite good, but when I went back in the Honda for one session, I just couldn't drive that properly because I got used to the Mini.
Right, yeah, that'll happen, I guess. And what do you make of the track here, and where do you race? Where do you race normally? Where you come from?
Well, we live half hour away from here, so this is our local.
What's your plans for the rest of the season? Are you going to carry on doing Super 1 in Minimax?
I think so.
Okay, well, good luck today.
Thank you.
It is Junior Rotax and Minimax up first. James Crossley was the winner in their Junior Rotax pre-final earlier. Grid positions were on your screen as seen, and Finn Smith was the winner in Minimax earlier. It's a split grid, so a slight difference between juniors going through the line now and then Minimax coming towards us, going through the line in their separate race. Juniors out of Billy's blind for the first time. Looks like Maciek Kamera's grabbed the lead, Jake. James Crossley, the poleman, in behind him, and then Daniel Armstrong.
Minimax coming towards us. Oh dear, Harley Horton getting massively sideways through the chicane, but managing to grab the lead from third position. Now Maciej Kamera is under some difficulty there. He's grabbed the lead of the race, but it looks as though they are investigating whether or not he jumped the start.
Well, if that's a jump .036, if that's
Goodness.
A jump start, I've never seen that in 20 years, getting a penalty for that. Daniel Armstrong on the 12 kart, the final winner at round one. Kamera leads it from Crossley, Armstrong, Powell Rogers, Cameron Belt from...
He's got a penalty. Now that's going to be applied after the race by the look of it. Well, that is shocking.
I can't believe that, I really can't. Looking at that, it was like a a nose cone width in front. Surely nothing more than that.
Well, I suppose the argument has got to be they've got to assess whether or not by making that leap forward of 3 or 4 centimetres, he's actually gained an advantage. That's what they've got to take into account, and they clearly feel he has done. But Machi Himera is going to feel very hard done by at the end of this race.
Absolutely, no doubt about it, because the other thing, of course, if that was a standard sort of penalty that's going to be handed out in the future and you're on pole, you'd be blipping the throttle to try and get the man on P2 in front of you.
Rain starting to come down, little droplets of rain coming down on the circuit. This is going to make things pretty spicy as Crossley starts looking this way and that way as they come into the left-hand hairpin up towards Buttons, named after the man who grew up on this very circuit, Jenson Button, 2009 world champion in Formula 1. They come out of the final corner and it's Himera still, Crossley all over the back of him. Then Armstrong, Powell, Jamil Rogers, Cameron Bell, then Lawrence St. James and Demi Lee Bell. So this is going to be a really exciting, interesting battle in the Minimax as well. Holly Horton has got Finn Smith all over the back with Ollie Stevens and Holly Woolley in the mix. Jamil Rogers running in P5 at the moment, having a very good weekend, battling away at the front. Look, a very defensive line from Machi Himera as he realises just how tricky the conditions are. Side by side for 4th, this is Powell trying to fend off from Jamil Rogers. Rogers trying to go right round the outside and sweeps on the inside of Buttons. Lovely move, and now Lawrence through on the inside as well. But Jamil Rogers, absolutely terrific run round the outside of the left-hand hairpin.
Great racing as always here on this track. It's a very short track, 830 metres, but lots of overtaking as a racing driver. That is exactly what you want, and we saw some right there.
Well, I've been commentating on races at Clay Pigeon since 2013. I have yet to see a dull one. That's Finn Smith's details. He's running 2nd in Minimax, right in behind Harley Horton. Out the inside, this is going to be the move on Jamil Rogers into the horseshoe, and he's got the move done. Lovely job from Lawrenson. Up from 6th on the previous lap, now up into 4th. A good bit of driving there from Lawrenson as they go into top bend, onto the main straight once again, and still Machi Himera with the fantastic fighter plane graphics on the particular card of that squad. It really is great to see the 303 squadron livery.
I was talking to him earlier in his interview, and it's great to see a young man embracing his history and paying due respect to the guys that gave up everything so that people like him and people like me and you, Jake, can have the freedoms that we enjoy today.
Yeah, it's great to see the youth taking a note of their heritage. He's not the only one I know of in British karting either. Harvey Ryby, who races in Europe now and has been in out of the Super 1 paddock from time to time as well. He races with a helmet design which is, lest we forget, with the gorgeous red poppies all over it and the troops going into battle. It looks absolutely amazing. We're back with the Minimax battle. This is Finn Smith trying to hold off Ollie Stevens. Harley Horton has been held up in the traffic and he's down to 3rd position in Minimax once again. Now trying to get himself back on terms. Now they've got Cameron Belt in front of them, and they're trying to overtake. Oh, Finn Smith's going to get boxed in. Ollie Stevens may get a chance here, and that's a very frustrated Cameron Bell. Look, you're Minimax, you shouldn't be racing me at all. And now at the inside, Ollie Stevens gets through. Well, this is a difficult situation because, of course, in a way, he's got a point. You know, you're not in the same class as me. Why are you giving me aggro? But the thing is, you're racing.
Exactly. Nothing they can do about it. Ollie Stevens, by the way, that was a fantastic opportune move to take the lead in the Minimax class.
Oh, and here he goes again up on the inside. Now there's not a lot the 77 can do about this. Cameron Belt, and through they all go. And Belt is not happy at all. Stevens is through, Smith is through, Horton's through. Look, you're in a different class, okay, but this is not for lapping another driver. These are not lapped drivers. They are racing for position.
You're talking about drivers at the top of their game in Minimax against somebody in Cameron who's just not as experienced in a faster car. He's in a faster car, but doesn't have the experience that these guys have. So the two things balance each other out.
The third factor, of course, is the slippery conditions that the rain is providing. It's not heavy rain, but it's that fine line in between, isn't it? It's not wet, it's not dry, it's that nasty point in between that drivers can't stand.
Yeah, they're all on slicks, of course. And these two, what a great battle this is. Himera from Crossley just put a quarter of a second as they went through the line, but you can see that basically means nothing at this stage. He's right up his chuff as they go through the final turn and down to the finish line one more time.
Himera checks over his right shoulder. He wants to see if Crossley's going to make the move, maybe into Billy's blind. No, because Himera protects it nicely, hugs that inside line like Billy-O as they go through the S's. through the right, through the left, and now up towards Hans Hairpin. I think Crossley's definitely looking for a way through now, but Hemera hangs onto the inside line with enough traction off the corner in the braking zone to fend off. Now Crossley's under some pressure from Lawrenson, who's up into that third position mark, having dealt with Dan Armstrong, and that has held them all up. So Armstrong and Rogers have joined the fray. It's a five-way squabble now for the victory with just under 6 minutes on the clock.
Two in it earlier on, just what, a lap or so ago. It was these two out front on their own, not anymore. It's a five-way battle, 5 carriages in the train. Hemeri, Crossley, Lawrenson, Armstrong and Rogers, the front 5, and Josh Powell getting in the mix. There he goes on the 64.
Harry James isn't far behind him either, so if the leaders continue to squabble, then this could end up being a 7-way fight, because Rogers is not that far ahead of Josh Powell. James is hanging on for dear life in behind him in 6th position, so if the rain keeps tumbling, the circuit will start to get more and more greasy. The drivers will obviously have very hot tyres, because it's still effectively a dry circuit with a little bit of surface moisture now being added to it. It's going to be an absolute knife edge. These last few laps are going to be incredible as Crossley makes the dive into the S's. Beautifully timed. He got brilliant traction out of Billy's blind, and now he's on it. We're back on board now. This is Machi Hemera. Into the hairpin he goes, and through Hands up towards the horseshoe. He's looking this way, up to the inside line. He has to chop across and hold off Hugh Lawrenson, but James Crossley's got a bandit on his tail. He goes for him at 3 p.m, goes for him at 9 o'clock. He's on your 6, mate.
Tally ho, chaps, here we go. Bandits 12 o'clock.
Absolutely terrific as they come across the line. Machi Hemera's really going for it. Point treble 1 as they come across the line. That is nothing as they go through Billy's blind up towards the S's. Right curb, left curb, using plenty of it as they come through. And still, Harry James is giving Josh Powell a bit of a run for his money. Ollie Stevens, though, having broken into the lead of Minimax, has got himself a bit of a gap over Finn Smith. That's crucial at this stage of the race.
Virtually exactly a second. He's got a lead in that race. It's been a good effort by Ollie all weekend this weekend. But we're concentrating on this battle in Junior Rotax. About a second splits the top 5. Less than a second. 3/4 of a second as they went through last time. Split the top 5. 3:54 on the clock. Half a second split the top 5 now. What a race.
On board with Hemera, right, left, and up towards Hans Hairpin once again. The 11 is going for the move, but Crossley now is the one who's defending, hanging on to the inside line through the right-hander at Hans Hairpin. Now up to the left at Horseshoe. This is where we saw Jamil Rogers pull off that incredible move a few laps ago, and now he's in the hunt for the victory. Up in 5th position, tucked in behind Dan Armstrong, and you're right, Josh Powell has joined the train.
Yeah, he's 6 in it, and Harry James isn't far behind either. He'll be trying to close it. Looking down the inside, Mary's going to make it stick. Not yet through Billy's blind.
Oh, that's the move.
Armstrong does the final winner at the opening round. Makes the move. Does the 90 go through as well? It takes 2 of them.
Yep, Armstrong through and Jamil Rogers through as well. Absolutely terrific. All at the expense of Hugh Lawrenson. Down to 5th position now in front of Josh Powell. So Crossley is your leader from Hemera, Armstrong, Rogers, Lawrenson, Powell and Harry James. And then we've got Ollie Stevens extending his gap in Minimax to a 2nd over Finn Smith. Harley Horton still there in 3rd in front of Holly Woolley, with Cameron Belt in between Horton and Woolley at the present moment. Demi Lee Belt is a lap adrift, still gaining experience, of course, in this Junior Rotax class, as Crossley holds the inside line through Billy's blind, and Machi Hemera has now got Dan Armstrong to deal with. He needs to get on with Crossley, otherwise Armstrong's going to take the initiative.
We come through the S's one more time, 2:30 on the clock. That's Ollie Stevens going through on the 27. He leads the Minimax race. This is the Junior Rotax class, and we've got looks like 2 groups of 3 now. So 3 of them stretching away and just losing the back. Is that Powell got through?
It is, I think.
Yes, Powell's past Lawrenson. So Powell now up to, was that 5th place?
It is 5th place, yeah. So Powell is now going to be charging after Armstrong and Rogers as they come through. It's going to be very, very tight as they get through. Over the inside core, Hemera's got 2 wheels on the grass, trying to find the space, and he made it work. Brilliant from Machi Hemera. That was absolutely leaving nothing to chance there. But he needs to take the win, doesn't he? Because he's got that penalty from the start. He needs essentially to win this race to get out in front and pull out a 5-second gap. So for Machi Hemera, it's important to get into the lead and start bolting away.
Yeah, he's never going to get a 5-second gap. He won't know about the penalty as things stand at the moment. We're aware of it, but I've got to say, harsh to say the least.
Yeah, they certainly wanted to throw the book at him on that particular occasion, didn't they? I think it was minimal to say the least. Up the inside for 4th position. That is Lawrenson getting back into the game as he makes the move on Jamil Rogers. So Lawrenson is through into 4th position then on Jamil Rogers. In terms of the timing, that is crucial because we've only got 1:10 minutes on the clock. Still the rain is trickling down on the circuit here at Clay Pigeon, and you can see that there's more than one racing line. The drivers are starting to choose now. Now this is going to be an awkward moment for Hemera. He's trying to find a way past Demi-Lee Belt to overtake her and put a lap on her. They come down the straight and Demi-Lee Belt is in a junior Rotax, of course, and is not finding it very easy to hang on, and she's lost it. Oh, so easy to do, unfortunately. That was unfortunately the pressure of the situation and the greasy conditions of the track combining to produce a perfect storm for Demi-Lee Belt, and unfortunately the back end got away. But the good thing, I suppose, is that it didn't impede any of the other drivers in the mix. So Demi-Lee Belt getting out of the way, not the way she would have wanted to, but at least she doesn't have to worry about it. Well, the marshal isn't quite aware that it's not Demi-Lee Belt anymore.
Yeah, he's not aware that she spun off down the bottom, but it's just 18 seconds, so 2 laps to go as they go through the line. So it's still Hemera, Crossley, Armstrong, and then Lawrence and Rogers, Powell, and Harry James trying to get in there as well. Harry having a really good run this weekend on the 55. There he goes through the S's, and he's right in this mix. If these 3 or 4 at the front have a tangle, Harry James could pick himself up a podium.
Time down to 0, and Crossley is ripping heaven and earth apart to try and find a gap on Machi Hemera. 2 wheels on the curb and nearly on the grass through Billy's blind, trying to get through at the beginning of the lap. And now he's only got 1 more time around. Machi Hemera is trying to hang on to a victory that, it has to be said, is going to be rather cruelly taken from him, whether he crosses the line first or not. As he comes through to the chicane, Josh Powell, fastest lap of the race in Junior Rotax at 35.841. Fastest in the Minimax is Finn Smith. 4 corners to go. This is not going to be easy for Machi Hemera to hang on to. Crossley's trying every trick in the book. Armstrong, Lawrenson, Rogers, Powell, and Harry James all very close in. Is anybody going to have the opportunity to make the big bold lunge? Lawrenson's thinking about it to try and get into 3rd, but he's not close enough. It's going to be Machi Hemera who crosses the line in 1st position. He's going to be delighted about it. But unfortunately, that is going to be a short-lived celebration because it's going to be James Crossley who takes the victory. Then Dan Armstrong from Lawrenson, Powell and James. Machi Hemera will be demoted to 6th. Jamil Rogers, due to a penalty, demoted to 7th from Cameron Belt and Demi-Lee Belt. That is how it stacks up in Junior Rotax. James Crossley taking the win. And in Minimax, it's Ollie Stevens who grabs it from Finn Smith in front of Harley Horton and Holly Woolley.
James, 2nd on track, but you won in the end due to the jump start. How confident were you, though, that they have made a jump start at the beginning and that they would get penalised?
Yeah, absolutely. He was caught like the head all the way down the start-finish straight, so I absolutely knew it was a jump start, but obviously I wanted the win on track, but didn't get it, but I knew I had it in the bag, yeah.
So, good weekend for you then. Who do you want to thank?
I'd like to thank my mechanic, Nathan, and also my new sponsors, Security Exchange.
Okay, well done.
Thank you very much.
How was it in very tricky conditions, wet conditions with slick tyres on?
So it was slidey, a bit hard to control. I got used to it after about halfway through and was able to pull off the win.
Who do you want to thank?
I want to thank Mike and Toby from Clay Kart Shop and my granddad who takes me karting.
Okay, well done.
Thank you.
Interesting race there from Junior Rotax. Machi Hemera holds the championship lead from Armstrong and Rogers, with Josh Powell 4th from Cameron Belt. Obvious jump start? I'm not sure I'd go with that one, to be perfectly honest. It's debatable in my book. Harley Horton leads the Minimax standings, 6 points ahead of Finn Smith. The battle really raging from Ollie Stevens, Callum Boyson and Sam Gornall. Next up, in part 2, we're going to be going to the senior categories, Rotax and Rotax 177.